Ever been lost in a foreign country with your friends arguing over who was supposed to bring the map? Well, you're not alone. We've all been there and it's a rite of passage in the realm of travel. But wouldn't it be great if we could skip the drama and just enjoy the adventure? In this video, we're going to explore the top 8 blunders we all make when traveling with friends, and more importantly, how to avoid them. From lack of planning to unfair division of expenses, we've got you covered. So buckle up because we're about to dive into the top 8 mistakes to avoid when traveling with friends. First up on our list, we have the all-too-common mistake of not planning enough. Can you imagine setting off on a road trip without a map or a destination in mind? Or going to a concert without knowing the band's playlist? That's what traveling with friends without a solid plan can feel like. It's not just about deciding where to go or what to see. It's about budgeting together and making sure everyone is on the same page. What's the point of going to a 5-star restaurant if half the group can only afford a hot dog stand? And trust me, you don't want to be stuck in a foreign country without enough money to get back home. Planning is also about avoiding conflicts and unexpected expenses. It's about setting expectations and making sure everyone knows what they're getting into. It's about having a backup plan for when things go wrong, because let's face it, they often do. So, don't be that group standing in the middle of a busy street, arguing about where to go next, or that friend who always ends up paying more than their fair share. Plan, and then plan some more. Because as the old saying goes, failing to plan is planning to fail. Moving on to mistake number 2, letting one friend foot the bill for everything. Now we all have that generous friend who insists on paying for everything. But remember, it's not just about the money, it's about the principle of fairness. If one person is constantly shouldering the financial burden, it can create tension and resentment in the group. So how can we avoid this financial faux pas? Easy. Plan ahead, discuss budgets before you start your journey. You can use money-sharing apps or keep a shared kitty for common expenses. This way, everyone contributes equally, and no one feels taken advantage of. Another great idea is to rotate the responsibility of paying for meals or activities. This way, everyone gets a turn to play the magnanimous friend, and it's not always the same person reaching for their wallet. And let's not forget about those little expenses that add up, like tips and taxis. Keep track of these and make sure they're split evenly too. So, unless your friend is a secret billionaire, make sure you're sharing the costs. Now, on to mistake number 3. Thinking you can wing it without researching your destination. You might fancy yourself an impromptu adventurer, but trust me, spontaneity has its limits. Can you imagine landing in Rome and not knowing about the Colosseum? Or how about hitting the streets of Tokyo and missing out on the world-famous Tsukiji fish market? Researching your destination isn't just about ticking off the major tourist spots. It's about immersing yourself in the culture, understanding the customs, and appreciating the nuances of your new environment. It's about knowing where to find the best local cuisine, discovering those hidden gems that aren't in the travel guides, and understanding the local transport system to avoid getting lost or wasting precious time. So, before you pack your bags and hit the road with your friends, do your homework. Dive deep into the internet, read travel blogs, scour Instagram for hidden spots, and maybe even learn a few phrases in the local language. Your travel experience will be all the richer for it. In other words, don't be that person who visits Paris and misses the Eiffel Tower. Mistake number 4, forgetting that even the best of friends need some alone time. Can you imagine spending every waking moment with your buddies for days on end? Sounds fun at first, right? But even the most inseparable of friends can start to feel the strain of constant companionship. Traveling is an exciting whirlwind of new experiences, but it can also be exhausting. And when we're tired, we're more likely to get snippy, grumpy, and generally not fun to be around. This is where the concept of personal space comes into play. Even when you're halfway across the world together, it's essential to carve out some me time. Maybe it's a quiet morning coffee while your friend is still snoozing, or perhaps it's an afternoon spent exploring on your own. These little pockets of solitude can be refreshing, recharging your social batteries and giving you a chance to reflect on your journey. Respecting each other's need for space helps maintain harmony within the group and keeps the trip enjoyable for everyone. So don't be afraid to voice your need for a little alone time and be understanding when others do the same. Remember, absence makes the heart grow fonder even on vacation. Last but not least, we have mistakes number 5 to 8, all revolving around one key factor: communication. Yes, you heard it right. Communication, the very thing that can make or break any relationship, and trust me, it's no different when you're traveling with your friends. Now, we're not saying you need to have a heart-to-heart around a campfire every night, but it's essential to be considerate of each other's preferences and needs. Say, for instance, you're an early bird, but your friend likes to sleep in. Instead of waking them up at the crack of dawn to go birdwatching, maybe you could compromise and plan activities that cater to both of your interests. Perhaps you could catch the sunrise, and they could join you for breakfast afterwards. And speaking of food, we all know that one friend who's a picky eater. Instead of rolling your eyes at their dietary restrictions or preferences, why not turn it into an adventure? Try finding a local restaurant that caters to their needs, or even better, learn to whip up a dish that they can eat. It's all about turning potential conflicts into bonding experiences. Remember, it's crucial to express your concerns and expectations openly. If you're not a fan of hiking, tell your friends. There's no point in grudgingly trudging up a mountain, only to be miserable and ruin the experience for everyone. And finally, be sure to check in with each other regularly. Traveling can be stressful, and it's easy to get swept up in the excitement and forget to ask your friends how they're doing. A simple, "Hey, how are you feeling about the trip so far?" can go a long way in maintaining a positive group dynamic. So the next time you're planning a trip with your friends, remember, communication is not just key, it's the whole darn lock. That wraps up our list of the top 8 mistakes to avoid when traveling with friends. To recap, don't be the friend who forgets to plan or splits expenses like a pirate dividing treasure. Make sure you're not the one who skips the research and ends up in a haunted hotel. And remember, personal space isn't just a concept for astronauts. Communication, folks, it's not just for walkie-talkies. If you enjoyed this video and want to avoid being that friend who ruins the trip, make sure to give us a like and hit that subscribe button. Safe travels.